Hey everybody, welcome to my Random Coaster Thoughts Part 2. This is going to be a series that will be uploaded every Friday. If you know, I uploaded one of these last Friday, and it did pretty well, so I'm going to do one again. And I will just go over some news going around, and just some overall thoughts on whatever really seemed to come to my mind. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting off today, I'm going to talk about some of the construction for the new SeaWorld San Antonio GCI, or at least we assume it's a GCI. It looks a lot like a GCI, just overall the transitions and everything, and plus in the pictures of it when they leak down in the right hand corner, it's it looks like it's going to be a pretty big ride in terms of, just over how long it is. But I don't think it's going to be very tall. It doesn't look like, I mean, it might be, but maybe somewhere from like 100 to 120 feet, which is usually around where some of the more, I guess, like step up GCIs are, like, Thunderhead and like Great Desert Rally, stuff like that. So I'm assuming it might be around there. Now, this does look like it's going to have some good airtime moments, but not as much as, let's say some of the other GCIs that I just mentioned. It does look like it will be better than Invader. It's a lot bigger. It's not. It doesn't look like a family coaster. It has a higher height requirement. But overall, they've already taken some good construction. There's been a lot of photos. There's just been a lot of videos of, because they already put in the some of the bank turn and the brake run, and most of the, actually pretty much all the lift hill is finished. These two pictures at the top are some older photos, but yeah, I think this ride is going to be possibly the best in the park when it opens. I'm not sure about that. If I take a trip down to Texas, where I do Fiesta Texas, over Texas, San Antonio, I might be able to decide that for myself. But from what it looks like it's gonna be a very awesome ride. And some news from the other SeaWorld park, the one in San Diego, the files for the, or I guess just the dive coaster has gotten approved. They had to go through so much work to get the coaster approved. It'll be the tallest dive coaster in California, which means it will be taller than 150 feet, which is about where hang time is. And this will be the only B&M dive coaster on the west coast, which I think is pretty cool. All the other ones are on the east coast, or the other four. This will be, it looks like it's going to have 3 inversions, possibly 4. I think they did say it might break a world record, which I'm not sure. But it looks like it's going to have a Immelman, which looks pretty big. It's going to have some sort of either 0G roll or corkscrew, and possibly like a cutback of some sort. But this ride, I think I like the positioning of the mid-course brake run, unlike Yukon Strikers, where Yukon Strikers, like at the end, all it really does after it is just a helix. But the one ride I'd compare this to the most is probably Valkyria at Leesburg. It looks like it's got a pretty similar layout, a pretty similar, just overall, it looks like Valkyria. It's about the same size, Valkyria is like 150, 4 feet, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, what's kind of cool is down in the left-hand corner, someone made a I guess I don't know how. I guess it was like an image or something, but they showed how it might look whenever the ride is complete, and I think that it will fit pretty well. You've got Electric Eel on the right, but nothing on the left. So I think that it's gonna fit pretty well. It also, I love the color scheme for it. It's gonna be one of my favorite color schemes. It looks really nice. That like really really light blue on that turquoise like cyan color. I think it's gonna look pretty good. And they had to do it light blue because the city says anything that's like, I think it's anything that exceeds like 60 feet. I'm not sure about that, but anything like any buildings that exceed 60 feet have to be painted a light blue color. So I think that's why Electric Eel is light blue, and the Sky Tower, the observation tower, is light blue. I think that it the colors of it, even though they had to do that, I think it still will fit very well. And even though they already used the name Mako, I think it possibly could be changed in the future. I think the Mako wasn't officially announced yet. Actually, not really any of the stats are going to be announced. So I don't think this is 100% going to be called Mako. I would assume because you got SeaWorld does the thing where they name two coasters with the same name, but they're completely different. I mean, like, let's see, we got Manta at SeaWorld Orlando, which is a flying coaster by B&M. We've got Manta at SeaWorld San Diego, which is a Mack Rides launch coaster. And then with the Mako, it's a B&M Hyper, SeaWorld Orlando, and then Mako is B&M Dive Coaster. I think it's like they might go with it, but I'm not 100% sure if they're going to. But either way, I'm still looking forward to one day getting out to ride this. It looks like a possibly best B&M dive coaster in North America, depending on how the other ones would ride. Some people say Yukon Striker still looks better, but to be honest, I really like the layout for this. I like the theme, I like the look of it. There's pretty much a lot of good things about this ride. Well, let's just move on to start talking about the random stuff. And yeah, to be honest, I think the one thing that I left off on last episode was the Hershey Park B&M Hyper Candymonium. I think the construction has kept going. Like I said, Amusement Insiders, check the video out where he has a video of the station work and the brake run all put in. I think it's a pretty cool video. And to be honest, people were saying, "Oh, is this gonna be a Giga Coaster? Is this gonna be a Giga Coaster?" I didn't really think it was going to. I always thought it was gonna be a Hyper Coaster because of the fact that it looks like a Giga Coaster. Just it doesn't look like the same. It doesn't have the same layout or similar layout as Fury 325 and Leviathan. I think to be honest, it looks like a Hyper from the start, and the Hyper I'd actually compare it most to is Behemoth, mainly just because of the first half is very similar, and then the ending half it's got that big turnaround and a few hills here and there and that long brake run. I think it looks a lot like Behemoth. But yeah, when we first got the video announcing all of the new entrants and all that, I'm like, well, here's the thing. Is it if they don't start construction sometime soon, I don't know if it will end up being built in 20 and finished by 2020, the entire area, but they already have some good work going. They have some temporary bathrooms and all that going. They have a huge construction site just flattened out, or not. It's not flattened out, but it's all there's a lot of dirt and everything. They're building up, you know, uh, all the areas where the buildings and stuff will go. And to be honest, if you look to the right in that video, if you go watch it, there's a lot of room. And I predict, I don't know if there'll be a coaster there, because, everyone that is, their home park, Hershey Park, is gonna say, oh, it's gonna be a new roller coaster. I don't think it will. I think it, to be honest, will be some sort of maybe dark ride, because they have two dark rides. One of them's not in the park, but I feel like they could use a good maybe shooting dark ride. I think the other one is a shooting dark ride, but I think it could be a dark ride, could be some sort of a water ride, it could be a water coaster, which I know that's a coaster, but it's still a water ride. It could be to be honest, it could really be anything. I just don't think it's going to be a huge new coaster. Maybe like a family coaster, a launch family coaster. I think that'd be kind of cool to have. I know it's not going to be. I've heard some people say that it might be an RMC. I highly doubt it will be an RMC. Um, like maybe in the future, but not for the next coaster. I think the next coaster will be some sort of either water coaster or like maybe like a launched family coaster by Mac. I think that'd be pretty cool. But back to Candemonium, we have but I think this is gonna create a even better skyline for the park. I mean, the park skyline already is pretty good. I mean, you got Skyrush and Stormrunner, but this is just gonna add to that, and this will be the tallest. And I'm not sure about the fastest. They said tallest and longest. Tallest, I don't know, but if it is the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster in Hershey Park, then that means it's gonna be over 200 feet tall. It's gonna be I think longer than Skyrush, if I'm correct, and it's gonna be faster than Stormrunner, which I think goes 78. So it might be 78, might be 79. Actually, no, I think Stormrunner goes 75. Never mind. But it's gonna be somewhere around there, which means if it's gonna be faster than Stormrunner, if it is gonna be the fastest coaster, then that means that it's gonna have to be somewhere around maybe 240-foot drop to, or like 220 to 240, which is a pretty big drop, which means it's gonna be pretty tall. It does not look like it's gonna drop subterranean. So I think this will end up being somewhere around 220 to 240. And if they count Skyrush's drop as the tallest, then it would have to exceed 212 feet. Then we've got my computer just turned off. That was weird. But I think this is gonna be a really great ride. Um, I think it's gonna be a great fit for the park. They don't really have that huge airtime coaster that just has a lot of floater. Most of the rides are ejector, especially Skyrush. But Skyrush is more intense. This is gonna be more graceful. This is gonna be the crowd pleaser. It's because Skyrush isn't as popular with the crowds. It is a lot more intense. The restraints can hurt. Um, but this is going to be a lot more popular, I would assume. So that's why I think it's a great fit, and it hopefully coming in 2020. Next up, I want to talk about Zadra at Energy Landia and the Vekoma launch coaster. Now, to be honest, I think people are saying Zadra might be better than Steel Vengeance. And I can say, I agree. I completely agree. I think Zadra looks like an incredible RMC, looks like some great airtime moments, some intense moments also. That drop looks, you know, pretty good if you're in the back row. It's got that same structure as Goliath, and that's what I would kind of mix it between. I would mix it between maybe like Goliath and something like Wildfire. It's got some of the elements of Wildfire, and maybe even Lightning Rod, but it looks like an upscaled Goliath, which I think looks pretty cool, because Goliath, in my opinion, looks really good. I really like just the overall look of it, and, I think that it's going to be I think Zadra's going to be pretty good. A RMC, maybe one of the best, if not the best RMC. I would completely agree, but, yeah, that's something to look forward to that's coming up next year that I feel like some people kind of forgot about. I feel like, it should get more attention because it looks really good. Well, that's going to be it for this video. You like the video if you enjoyed and you want more videos like this one, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and make sure you go check out my Instagram. Link in the description below, and I'll catch you guys next time.